Once again, students, welcome back. This is Dr. Mercado, and we are once again continuing covering content from Chapter 5, which deals with unemployment compensation. We are using the Payroll Accounting 2022 edition, and the course is Accounting 1329, Payroll and Business Tax Accounting. Okay, so I hope all of you are becoming familiar with the content in the chapter. Understanding the differences between FUTA and SUTA is critical. Okay, remember FUTA is at a federal level. That is just mainly administrative fees for the federal unemployment tax program. Okay, SUTA, the state unemployment tax, that is what actually is paid out in benefits to the employees. That is the money that is put into this bucket, and then in case anybody gets laid off, then that is where the money comes out from the state level. Okay. So the problem that we're going to be covering over today is problem 5-9. Okay, so the problem states the partnership of Keenan and Klutlow paid the following wages during the year. They paid $85,000 to Keenan, which is a partner, $75,000 to Klutlow, who's also a partner. Perry, who's a supervisor, got $53,000. Ali, a factory worker, $34,600. Rolf, a factory worker, $29,800. Brock, factory worker, $6,900. Ruiz is the bookkeeper, gets paid $25,400, and Rudolph works in maintenance, got paid $5,100. In addition, the partnership owed $200 to Rudolph, which Rudolph is the maintenance person, for work he performed during December. Okay. However, payment for this work will not be paid until January of the following year. The state unemployment tax rate for the company is 2.95%. So they're giving you the SUTA rate of 2.95 on the first $9,000 for each employee's earnings. They're asking us to compute A, the net FUTA tax for the partnership for this year, and B, the SUTA tax for this year. Okay. So I've got I basically copied this information from the problem over to my Excel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my total. Okay, that way I know how much I paid all of my employees. Okay, so I know I paid everybody in the company $314,800. Okay, so I'm going to begin my calculation by getting my gross payroll. Okay, which is $314,800. Okay, from there I'm going to deduct my payroll to partners. Remember, we said last time that partners are not considered employees. Okay, anything paid to the partners is basically a withdrawal. Okay, that amount is non-taxable. Okay, it's non-taxable. Okay, and that it was covered in chapter 2. Okay, so the amount that was paid to my partners was, if you add those two, it's $160,000. I'm going to deduct that because that is not going to be included because it's not taxable. Okay, so those $2 amounts is not taxable. Okay, so these two are not taxable. Okay, that gives me my $160,000 right there. So I'm going to highlight them, that way you know that these two numbers equal that 160. Okay, now we know that we need to pay FUTA on the first $7,000 of earnings. Okay, I'm going to deduct my salaries beyond the $7,000 threshold. Remember, we only pay taxes on the first $7,000. Okay, so what I'm going to do is up here is I'm going to put my FUTA limit. Okay, my FUTA limit is $7,000, and I know that the partners are not liable for any FUTA. Okay, but the rest are. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. The rest of my employees, I'm going to pay taxes on the first $7,000. This is my limit. Okay, now I need to figure out the excess. How much did they go over? Okay, this is my FUTA excess. Okay, how much is not taxable? Okay, remember, we only pay FUTA on the first $7,000. So I'm calculating here what I am not going to pay taxes on. So I'm going to get my wages minus my limit, and that is going to give me the amount that I do not have to pay FUTA taxes on. Okay, this is the amount that represents what we are not going to pay taxes on. Now look at this employee, Brock. Brock has earned $6,900. My limit is $7,000, which means I have not gone over. I'm going to delete that because I have not gone over. I don't have any excess for Brock. Okay. For Rudolph, I don't have any excess either because Brock has earned 5,100 and the limit is 7. So Brock does not have any excess, but the rest of my employees do. Okay. So I know that my employees have earned 314,800, including my 2 partners. I know that for Pseudo Tax, partners are not going to get charged any Pseudo Tax. Okay, and these are the amounts that my employees have earned above the $7,000 limit. We only pay Pseudo taxes on the first 7,000. Anything above that is not taxable. These are the amounts that my employees have earned above that $7,000 limit. So the amount that is in excess of my Pseudo limit is 114,800. So I'm going to subtract that. Okay. So I'm going to subtract the salaries beyond the $7,000 limit. This is my excess. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight that in another color. That way you know how I got that. And I'm subtracting them because I want to come out, or I want to calculate my taxable payroll. Okay, which is what I'm going to do next. Okay, my taxable payroll for future purposes is going to be my 314,000 minus my 160 minus my 114,800. Okay, that gives me a taxable payroll of $40,000. For future purposes, I'm only going to pay taxes on $40,000. Okay, so now that I have that, I have my future rate. My future rate is 0.6%. Okay, and then I can calculate my future tax. Okay, so my future tax will be your 40,000 times your 0.6%, and that would give me $240. That will be my my future tax, 240. Okay, 240. Remember, for future, we pay future taxes on the first $7,000 of earnings. If they made more, we need to figure out, okay, how much in excess did they earn? Because this amount needs to be deducted from my wages. Okay, I'm not going to pay any future taxes on this. I'm only going to pay future taxes on the first $7,000. Okay, so that is requirement A. Requirement B is going to be very similar, but now we're doing Pseudo. We're going to once again begin with my gross payroll. We already calculated our gross payroll to be 314,800. Okay. Okay. And then I am going to deduct my payroll to my partners. That is also deducted. Your payments to the partners are non-taxable. Partners. That's non-taxable. And the amount that is non-taxable is your 85,000 and your 75,000, which gives you 160,000. I'm going to deduct that. Okay. So that I'm going to highlight it in yellow. That way you know that this 160 is coming from those two numbers. Okay. Then I'm going to deduct salaries beyond the $9,000 limit. Remember, for Pseudo, the limit that was provided to us in the problem is for the first 9,000 for each employee's earnings. Okay. So for Pseudo, I am going to pay Pseudo taxes on the first $9,000. So I'm going to put here my Pseudo limit. My Pseudo limit. Okay. Let me center this. Okay. So my Pseudo limit is going to be 9,000. Remember, these two are partners. Okay, we do not pay any Pseudo or Pseudo on partners. Okay, so now I'm going to calculate my Pseudo excess. Okay, how much did my employees earn above that $9,000 threshold? Okay, So we're going to forget about these because these are by partners, okay? These I'm not going to worry about, okay? So these are my partners, okay? So for your partners, you are not going to pay any taxes on partners, okay? Nothing is going to be owed on partners. But we are going to calculate the excess for my supervisor all the way to my maintenance employee. So I'm going to get my earnings minus my pseudo limit, and that's going to tell me how much excess, how much my employee earned above the threshold. Okay, remember, if they're negative, that means that the employee has not reached that cap of 9,000, so they don't have any excess. So I'm going to delete those. Okay, if you have any negative number, it basically means the employee has not reached the cap yet. Okay, so from 5,100, which is what they earned, the cap is at 9,000. This employee has still not reached, so that means everything is taxable. What we are calculating is the portion that is not taxable. This is the amount that the employee has earned above the $9,000 limit. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add this column. And that gives me 106,800. Okay? That is the amount that the employees have earned above the $9,000 limit. Okay? So I'm going to deduct that from my total to get my taxable payroll. Okay. So my taxable payroll is going to be my 314,800 minus my 160 minus my 106,800. That gives me taxable payroll of 48,000. That is how much I am liable to pay my pseudo taxes on, those $48,000. I'm going to multiply it by my pseudo tax rate, by my pseudo rate. The rate provided in the problem for pseudo is 2.95%. Okay, that is given to you in the problem. Okay, 2.95%. Okay, so now I'm going to get my, sorry about that. I'm going to get my pseudo tax. I'm going to get my taxable payroll of 48,000 times my pseudo rate of 2.95%, and that's going to give me my pseudo tax. So it's 48,000 times 2.95%. That gives me a pseudo tax of $1,416. Okay. So we have calculated the pseudo tax, that is the tax on the first $7,000 of earnings. And we have calculated the pseudo tax, that is the tax on the first $9,000 of earnings in the specific problem. Okay, we've calculated the excess. The excess is the amount that is not taxable, and that is being deducted, and that will only leave the taxable portion. And once we have the taxable portion, we just multiply by the respective rates to get our tax. So if you see for the federal unemployment tax, we're only going to put in $240. That's just the administrative fee at the federal level. Now for our state unemployment, which is that's where we actually contribute into our state unemployment fund in case our employees are laid off, we are putting $1,416. Okay, so that is the requirement. Make sure that you clearly understand the pseudo limit and the pseudo limits provided. Okay, read the problem carefully. Make sure that you identify if you have partners, those partners are, the wages for those partners are non-taxable for federal or state unemployment. Okay, we need to go back and identify that partners are not taxable. They're basically, whatever is given out to a partner is considered like a withdrawal from the business. They're not employees. Okay, so that is the completion of problem 5-9. I hope this clarifies any questions that you might have. I do want to encourage you that if you do have questions or concerns as you work your homework problems, do not hesitate to contact me Monday through Friday. Please look over your syllabus and make sure that you are aware of my office hours. That way, if you have any questions, you want to go see me, or you want to call my office, you can do so during my scheduled office hours. Okay, so that is it. Until next time, and have a great day. Bye-bye.